Hello and welcome to I24 News World Cup show covering all the events from Brazil. One rest day is behind, one more today, and as of tomorrow, it's semi-final time. With me here in the studio, our football analyst, Motale Spiegler and Nitzan Peled. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello, good day.
The home fans are getting ready for their giant semi-final tomorrow, so are the leading players in each team, and we look back at some of the leading and surprising goalkeepers of the tournament. All that and more coming up. Let's get started. The 4 teams left standing will enjoy another day of rest before the semis begin tomorrow in Belo Horizonte. It will be Brazil against Germany, a replay of the 2002 final. Brazil won it back then 2-0. Ronaldo scored both goals. Following day in Sao Paulo, Argentina will tackle the Netherlands in a rematch of the 1978 final, which Argentina won 3-1. The disappointed losers will meet in the third-place match on Saturday. The winners will face each other in the final at the Maracanã next Sunday. Motele, we will look soon at the players, the coaches, all the preparations, but I want to ask you about the fans. These are 2 clear home teams, Brazil, of course, and Argentina, which is a lot of fans across the border. Is it a factor, or coming to these stages, you know, these are big teams as it is, and the home fans are not that important?
Of course, it's a factor, but the great teams, the great nation of football who reach this level, I believe that the football value on the pitch will make the difference. Of course, it's colorful. It's wonderful to see the yellow, to see the Holland colors, to see the Argentinian fans. It's a beautiful picture, but on the pitch for 90 or 120 minutes or maybe another shootout penalties. It's a high level of football, and everything is happening down at the pitch.
And maybe, Nitzan, we should also ask, at this level, at the semi-final, Italy lost in their World Cup in 1990.
Germany in 2006.
Germany 2006. The Netherlands lost the Euro 2000 semi-final. Maybe coming to this stage, it's a pressure because you're meeting a big team as it is.
Yeah, well, I'm not the former player between us, but I think...
You are the future player.
Oh, of course. But I think it has two effects, the positive one and the negative one. But when you look at the numbers, eventually it has a positive effect. Brazil and Argentina are now in the semifinals for the first time ever when they're both in the semifinals. Only Brazil and Spain, Brazil in 58 and 2002, and Spain in 2010, won a World Cup outside of their home continent. And when you look even on the teams that reach quarterfinals and the second round, you see that when it's a home continent, the numbers are higher for the home nations. And I think eventually it has a positive effect. But let's say on the finals, we've seen some letdowns, especially Brazil, 1950. So it's a dual effect.
Obviously, anything can happen. The fans are obviously important, but at the end of the day, it's up to the stars on the field to make the difference. Sometimes it's one player who takes the entire team on his back. Sometimes a big star is a part of a well-orchestrated machine. The fans at home point out who they think are the leading figures in each of the 4 semi-finalists, and of course, post their thoughts on social media. And here are some of them in Mirav Savir's tweet deck.
We're down to 4 teams, each one led by a star or several stars of its own. And it's those stars that have taken over Twitter the last few days. Thomas Müller came out strong in Germany's first game and calmed down a bit since then. But that doesn't mean he doesn't give it his all. As one fan says, every coach wants a player like Thomas Müller. That guy plays his socks off, 110% commitment, and it shows. He's a big reason why the Germans are in the semis. Graham agrees, saying, quote, "Honestly, I hope Thomas Müller goes on to establish himself as a World Cup great. At 24 years old, he has 9 goals in 2 tournaments. If he continues like this, he may become a World Cup great sooner than we think." And their foes on the field tomorrow night, Brazil, they will miss 2 of their biggest stars, Neymar and Silva, but they still have David Luiz, who fans haven't forgotten about. After the Colombia game, saying he's a champ, his goal, praying after the game, and consoling James, composure throughout, newfound respect for him. And Luiz himself showing why he's a first-class player, tweeting about his teammate Neymar, "The whole of Brazil is with you, brother. We love you, Neymar." And on Wednesday night, Leo Messi will be taking the field, and it seems he's one of the most productive players on the pitch this World Cup. Messi has completed the most dribbles and created the most chances so far in the World Cup. He's much more than a goal scorer. As a fan points out, if you watch Messi just for goals, you're missing out on 80% of his game. Scoring is never his main aim. He's just insanely good at it. And another player who's insanely good and insanely fast, Arjen Robben. You are saying remarkable how Robben has continued to improve as he's getting older. So many players with talent peak and stop. He has grown and grown. But right now, he's busy fighting the critics for his dive. And Jane says, Robben says he's tired of all the criticism about him diving. There's one way to stop that, Robben. And he will get that chance to do that Wednesday versus Argentina. You can be sure many eyes will be on him.
Motale, let's start by looking at Germany. Thomas Müller, obviously the star. He scored 4 goals, but 3 of them came in the opening match ever since one
He's
goal.
not the star.
Maybe it's good for him that he has Schule, Hummels. They may be the second best, but they help him be the best.
For me, the goalkeeper Neuer is the best. And all the team is very well balanced. Every day you can have a central defender who scored 2 goals. You have a left winger who scores a goal. Substitute great players. They are a very balanced team. Neuer, as Oliver Kahn said, the best goalkeeper in the world. But the question is, if a goalkeeper alone is enough to bring the cup. But he has in front of him a very great team.
Yeah, and it was enough.
And I say again, Müller is not the star of the German team. He's part of a very good unit.
Very good machine. I want to ask you, Nitzan, about David Luiz. He didn't expect to be the man carrying the Brazilian team, but as it happened, Neymar is out, the captain is out. He has to do it, and he can. We saw that against Colombia.
Yeah, David Luiz, I think it's reasonable to say he's the best defender in the world, and we knew it coming into the World Cup, but as you said, Neymar is the big star. The central defender just opposite to him is the captain. So maybe David Luiz, he was number 3 coming into this tournament in the Brazilian team. But now he's number 1, and he's an educated number 1, and he's a real leader. You see all the time videos coming up on the internet from training camps of Brazil, and you see players are reaching to him. He's always talking to other players. You see fans running to hug him. He's very beloved inside the nation, the team, and with the fans. And David Luiz, it's a nice story because he's going to play with Thiago Silva in Paris Saint-Germain this year. But it's a nice story because he can step up and be the leader of this team and lead it to win.
And I like the picture of him hugging James Rodriguez at the end. That's a big player.
That's the kind of character of this player.
When you say a great star, he is a real great star. He's big. But I would mention it before the game and before I go to Rio. Hulk or Fred are going to be the main players in this competition.
They are now the strikers.
Because the big one is not there.
Now,
don't forget, Hulk or Fred.
And now we look at the second match. It's Messi, Robben, yes, but Messi is the centerpiece of Argentina. Robben, an important factor, but I think the Dutch are more than just Robben.
Listen, Robben, until last year, was the greatest loser in the world of football.
Until that goal in the Champions League final.
And now he's on his way to be maybe the greatest winner. He is in a fantastic form. He's quick, he's he's playing collective, he's making the difference himself. He's enjoying his time over there in Brazil and all the team around him. But I would say that behind him, Sneijder is playing a quiet role, but a very important role.
And Messi, on the other hand, he has to drag Argentina now that Di Maria is out.
Yeah, it's completely different comparing to the Dutch national team. First of all, I think the Dutch biggest star is Louis van Gaal. But when you look at the Argentinian national team, so their coach made some nice changes during the World Cup that benefited the team. But Argentina, maybe in more than any other team in this World Cup, is dependent on one player. But for now, 1.5 good plays from Messi was enough. And I think it will be also enough against Holland because you remember they weren't so good not against Mexico and not against Costa Rica.
Yeah, so far it's good for him. Now we still have
Mascherano is going to play a big part in this game, trying to stop Robben.
His teammate from Barcelona. We still have 4 great goalkeepers in the tournament. Neuer, Cesar, Romero, and Kielsen are among the best in the world, but it's other goalies who grab the attention in this World Cup. US, Chile, Mexico, and of course Costa Rica. All have good memories from the tournament thanks in large to their man in goal, Mirav Savir, with a story.
With all the star strikers on the field, it's hard to put your focus anywhere else. Leo Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Neymar, Arjen Robben, attackers highlighted the rosters. But in this World Cup, it's the names of goalkeepers we've heard being chanted and praised on a regular basis, and not just the top dogs we were expecting to do well. Tim Howard, Claudio Bravo, Guillermo Ochoa, and Keylor Navas have all topped the headlines. Tim Howard became the talk of almost every sports show and headline last week when he saved 15 goals against Belgium. The American was a huge reason the red, white, and blue made it to the round of 16 and had 28 saves in his 4 appearances. Against Belgium, he gave his team a final chance and added time to fight for their right to stay in Brazil. And back in the U.S., he can be credited with a surge in viewership and football fans who had nothing but praise for the goalkeeper.
Tim Howard. Every game just kept us in it. Best goaltender pretty much in the world, so.
Chile's Claudio Bravo earned himself a new contract with his World Cup performance. He's expected to be introduced in Barcelona in a matter of days. The 31-year-old goalie recorded 20 saves in his 4 appearances with 10 attempted clearances and over 80% save rate. Bravo managed 6 saves against defending champion Spain, sending them home in group play, and 6 more versus Brazil in a heartbreaking loss. Guillermo Ochoa wowed viewers during Mexico's 0-0 draw against host Brazil. The goalkeeper made himself a household name in just that one game. During the match, he had 6 saves, which tied the record at the time and impressed even Brazil fans.
I think the match was a very difficult one. The key was the Mexico goalkeeper. He played very well against Brazil. All the chances Brazil had were blocked by the Mexico goalkeeper.
Over the team's 4 appearances, Ochoa made 10 saves and a future for himself with European teams, right as his contract with French team Ajaccio, which was relegated, expired. Keylor Navas made it furthest with his team. The 27-year-old's best performances came after Costa Rica made it out of the group of death, recording 7 saves during his games in the round of 16 and quarterfinals. He started all 5 games for the Ticos and had 21 saves overall. And reports say his performance against the Netherlands, in which he denied Robin van Persie and Wesley Sneijder over and over again, caught the attention of both Liverpool and Arsenal, increasing their interest in the goalkeeper. And while these 4 may have gone home, we still have 4 more talented goalies likely to keep us on the edge of our seats in the upcoming games.
Motale, we're used to seeing the big teams, you know, so we see Casillas, we see Buffon, we see De Gea, but in the, say, lesser teams, there are great goalkeepers.
That's the word, great goalkeepers. And instead of dropping names, I would say what a goalkeeper needs: to be talented, to be brave, to have confidence, and to be a strong character. And a little bit of luck.
The luck doesn't harm you. No, at any time.
Anytime, anybody.
I think eventually the team that will win this World Cup will have something to say for luck. Anything in football never comes without a bit of luck. And you can see when you look at the USA national team, they had a nice World Cup, and now they're happy about the World Cup that they had. And you see, Tim Howard had 27 saves. That's because his team wasn't good enough, and maybe they were too dependent on him. And we see those nice names of goalkeepers that we just saw. None of them is in the last 4, I think.
No, none of them is in the last 4. But yet they were able to bring up their games, and it's important because it's on the big stage. Ochoa came in without a team. Bravo, we hear, is in Barcelona. This is a stage to earn yourself a new contract.
They have time now to negotiate and to find but they had a great tournament, all of them. All the names we mentioned, great, just great.
And now, if we look forward, you mentioned Motale, Oliver Neuer as one of the one of the biggest names. Manuel Neuer.
He is a libero. He plays like a defender.
Yeah.
He is fantastic with his foot. He can dribble. He can hold the ball with his chest. He knows all about being a footballer, not only a goalkeeper.
Most of the Germany games, his average position was outside of the 18-yard box.
Obviously, Manuel Neuer a big factor of the German team. So is Julio Cesar for Brazil. Romero will be there for Argentina, and Silesen for the Netherlands. All those big games. Now, just before we say goodbye, we want to congratulate Novak Djokovic, who became the Wimbledon champion for the 2nd time in his career. This year's Wimbledon was somewhat overshadowed by the World Cup, but a Djokovic-Federer final is always mouth-watering, and so it was this time as well. Djokovic already had a match point in the 4th set, but Federer came back to win it. The fifth and deciding set was close, but Djokovic took it 6-4 to win the match. Nola cements his legacy as the best player in the world today, and Federer, who was so close to Grand Slam number 18, reminds us all what a great player he still is, even at the age of 33. But there can only be one winner, and it's Novak Djokovic. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Nitzan, thank you for being. Motale, you're heading to Rio. We hope you see a great, great final, regardless regardless of who the teams are. We hope it's a good game.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure for us. Nitzan, thank you as well. And that's it for us. We will be here again tomorrow to look again at the World Cup. Thank you for watching and have a beautiful day.